Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to week 2 of the Radical Racing Challenge live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Johan Karanis. Mark Tranter is operating the cameras, and we are here at Road America for this round of the season, the strength of field race for this week of the series. Johan, should be a lot of fun. We were saying just before this broadcast went live, this is such a good car track combination, and if Wednesday night was anything to go by with the same car track combination, a lot of slipstreaming and kind of draft battles is going to be the case around this track, so yeah, could be a tight one.
Most definitely, yeah. It's absolutely a driver's track, this one. With the car choice for this, the Radicals are just so well suited around here. And as you said, with the slipstreaming, I mean, you've got some seriously long straights. So definitely time to be gained for the drivers. But it's also going to be a challenge following in some of the corners. I know that Sector 3 has been quite a challenge for me in the past. I can imagine it being a bit easier for drivers of this caliber, but still expect to see a little bit of chaos in that region, and also some overtaking opportunities in that first sector.
Yes, certainly going to be something to watch out for. We're only in week 2 of the season, of course, so not too much to judge the championship on. It was Greg Seitz who was able to take the spoils last time out at Red Bull Ring, but it seemed like a really competitive order, and many of the front runners from that race arriving again tonight, along with some more competitive drivers as well. The drivers are currently in qualifying at the moment, and we'll soon be with that in the near future. And yeah, of course, should be a very tight battle. Of course, lots of slipstream, as I was going to say before. And it's become a bit of a routine around this circuit, actually, recently, Johan. I think we've broadcasted 2 races around this Road America circuit in the official series. I think one of them was a photo finish by about 2/100ths of a second. And one then I think the 2 leaders took each other out on the final corner. So I kind of hope it's not the latter tonight. But it is such a long run down to the final corner, and you could literally, it will literally come down to the line. You really need to be getting a strong drive from that final corner of the race.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen a lot of these drivers being very tactical about the decisions. I mean, last week Sites kept that overtake for the lead right until the last lap and just executed it perfectly. So there's definitely a good opportunity to kind of just tuck behind your opponent, utilize the speed a bit, see if you can save on tires a little bit by not being too aggressive, and then using that extra spare bit of tire life that you have in hand right at the end of the race. I mean, you can use that draft to great effect if you can nail those last few corners perfectly. So yeah, definitely a good opportunity for a close finish here, and as we've seen in the past, something that drivers tend to do. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, as we see on board right now with championship leader Greg Seitz, the car number 1 as well. It's not in position number 1, it's Josh Cam at the front who managed to take home 3rd position, I believe, last time out at Red Bull Ring. But the times always get faster. That's what we always need to remember in this series. A little bit like the Dallara F3 car as well. But the times always get faster as Beauchamp now moves to the front. He was very competitive back on Wednesday. Green, who got a podium last time out, moves up to 1st position, and now it's Steitenberger who moves to the top. That's a little bit of a surprise at the car number 17. So one of the lowest I-rated drivers in this entire field is right up there. You can see the top 3, in fact, all much lower. Callahan as well, punching above his weight, up in 6th position. Seitz does now move ahead, albeit by a super slim margin, 5/1000ths of a second. Vaughan Roberts goes to 4th, but still this man Josh Cam has yet to put in his 2nd lap time, and this is looking like a very good lap. It could be good enough for pole.
Yeah, Streitenberger is actually one of the new names. I do not recognize him from the previous race. I would have remembered him. I had a bit of trouble reading all of the names last time, so his name would have definitely popped up, but that is insanely close for both of them. We'll see Josh Cam come across the line, and he's going to pop himself up all the way to the top. That's a 159, 180, extremely impressive for this track. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, that's incredibly impressive. But it's so close. I mean, Seitz right on his tail, Streitenberger right there. Beauchamp in the end dropping down to 6th place. I think Beauchamp may have got a front row start the last time we visited the circuit in the official series. I mean, it's 2/10 off, which is usually the gap between, 1st and 3rd, maybe 1st and 4th, but instead he's all the way back down there in 6th position. And of course, occasionally I'll be mentioning, the Wednesday series. There's the Apex Racing League Radical Championship, which runs the same tracks as the official series. Just happens 2 days before the strength of field races. And Beauchamp was very competitive in that, fighting for the lead. I think ending up in 3rd position, or 4th position, apologies, with a half spin near the end of the event. So he was looking super strong, but just not quite being able to get pole position at least. Cam, though, is at the top ahead of Seitz. Streitenberger, Green, Vaughan Roberts, Beauchamp, Cortez, Callahan, Vandenherk, and Kyriakopoulos. Good qualifying actually for Kyriakopoulos there, up in 10th position. There's Alex Millwood, Michael De Turk, Alberto Gazapo, Michael Reinhardt, Chris Cash down in 15th place. Watch out for him to be moving up through the order. Mike Busson, Sean Malloy, and Arturas Candelas will certainly be moving through. That's a dreadful qualifying there for Candelas, who was also very strong on Wednesday. Then it's Eric Hanoi, Philip Blake, and Robert Woodward, who rounds out these 21 cars. Few drivers out of position there. I mean, particularly Candelas. I mean, there's not many drivers better in this Radical car than Candelas, Johan. So, yeah, he really needs to rely on some chaos happening ahead to really have a good chance at a decent result.
I definitely agree. He was also towards the middle of the pack on the previous race, so I think he might just not have had that good of an opportunity to prepare for the races. He might be doing some extra series on the side. I don't know. I haven't really spoken to him. Looking at the strength of field for the race, 4.6k. I mean, that to me that seems not a very very decent number.
Yeah, I wouldn't be getting into this split by any means. But of course, you know, if you want to try out the Radical, do sign up to the official series. Try to enter the strength of field race. There's about 5 splits going on simultaneously. It is great fun. But here we go. This is the top split race. Cam versus Sights on the front row of the grid. And we are away racing. Cam is away. Well, there's already a couple of cars off the circuit in the background. Kyrokopter's dropping down the order. He starts in 10th position, but Cam holds the lead. Top 5 all in the same order. And the top 4 all in single car heading into turn 1. Good start for Callahan to gain a couple of places. Also good start for Michael Reinhardt as well. He's up 4 places into 10th as both Sharp, I'm just saying, going to go defensive and a bit of too wide further back as well. But some chaos off the start, seemingly man this very narrow circuit. A couple of jars not getting off the line, but the front runners managed to get through very well. Green having to go defensive, really losing a few car lengths now to the jars ahead, just having to cover off the inside line if he possibly can. This is allowing Callahan to make a bold move around the outside. It's very wide just behind with Beauchamp taking the inside, but after all that, it's Green ahead of Vaughan Roberts. Callahan, Beauchamp was able to win out on that one, and Reinhardt and Millwood, I think, having a bit of a problem and just holding each other up in 8th and 9th.
Yeah, I mean that run to the first corner is just so long, and some of the drivers really kind of spinning up the wheels at the start. It's so easy with these cars to really lose it off the clutch, and I think that was a bit of a rough one there for Kyrokopoulos, getting pushed straight off the track into the grass there. But things looking good there for front runners Cam Sights and Sparkenberger.
Issues for Millwood and Reinhardt. I don't know if that was related. They were in a similar proximity as we head through the kick for the first time. Drivers track extending, and we have got one who loses it. That's going to be right into the wall. Does he collect anyone else? That was De Turk who spun out, and Green has gone out as well. The podium sitter from last time. Has he hit the wall, Green? I don't even know where he's gone, in fact. So that sounds like the worst then for Green. And one of the front runners from last week, one of the front runners in qualifying as well. And a dreadful start for this race, and that's probably game over.
Yeah, no, if you've got that kind of damage on this car, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. You're basically out of the race at this point. Up to the front run, too wide. Vaughan Roberts, fortunately getting overtaken here. He's going to go for the switchback, maybe pull alongside for turn number 2, but I think he's thinking the wiser and just picking his battles. Also nice and close. Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, Beauchamp just lifting out of it, in fact, halfway down the straight, not wanting to go for the meal. I'm surprised he's not a little bit more desperate to get past these guys. Now he is going to go for it, because I think he kind of saw Vaughan Roberts was getting boxed in. They're trying to work together, I think, these guys, because a bit of battling has dropped them back from the top 3. But honestly, no disrespect to Callahan, I'm not sure he's necessarily the guy to kind of lead this train. I would have thought Beauchamp would be the fastest of these guys. It was Vaughan Roberts was the fastest of them in qualifying. The car number 10 glitches out slightly. Vanden Herk is round. He is having a problem, so we've seen plenty of issues so far for drivers, and it's allowed for some big gains. Eric Canoy is up 9 places, for example, from 19th on the grid. Making too many moves, but yeah, just lots of errors from the drivers ahead.
Yeah, that's. I'm just feeling a bit sorry for Beauchamp, because I think that flickering from Vaughan Roberts' car in front of him, I mean, it's already difficult enough following the car that closely, but if you know that he's having some issues with his connection, I mean, that can be very problematic if you get too close to that car in front of you.
So we're going to get a replay of what happened to Mitchell Ian Green. So he was all by himself as well. So he was running in 4th position, lost a little bit of time to the drivers ahead, but it wasn't too bad. And then dipped a wheel onto the grass. And it's weird, that corner, the carrier's miles away, and yet so easy to find. and yeah, just taps the front of the car, and well, he's still running in this race, but yeah, going over that kind of landmine in the gravel as well, going to have to help the underside of the car.
I must say I've made the same mistake in Canada corner. That braking zone feels a little bit unstable. Chantal trying to poke its nose somewhere, but not seeing a good opportunity for it. I don't know, he might be trying to make Paul Roberts a bit more nervous in front of him. He's showing the nose quite a lot. It doesn't feel like the type of driving you would expect from someone that's just trying to follow behind another car. What do you think, Sam?
But yeah, I think you're right, and the batsman that they're doing is kind of inviting Cortez to join onto this one. And interestingly, Stratzenberger's had a rubbish lap. He lost a few tenths of a second in sector 1, and so the gap now between second and third up to about 8 tenths of a second. The draft really kicks in at about a second, I think, in this car. If it's any more than a second, then there's literally like nothing. And I mean, just keep an eye on maybe cam and sights up there, because you'll see kind of the effect of the draft maybe down the pit straight. It's particularly strong even from half a second. So once you're dropping 8 tenths of a second back, it's kind of up to you to start gaining back that gap. This toe isn't going to help you up too much. This was the mistake from Reinhardt there. And in fact, that was on lap 1, I believe. That was the initial problem for Reinhardt. And yeah, that's why he's down in 18th position right now.
Yeah, that's turn number 8 is an extremely tricky one, especially getting that speed up and going for the carousel. I think he might have just tried to carry a little bit too much speed and had to do some extra braking at the end. Got a beautiful view here of sights following Cam nice and close as they try and gap themselves from the rest of the pack. You can see Stratzenberger following there in the blue and green car there in the background. And then the rest of the pack finally around in corner number 2. So they've created a little breathing room for themselves, and there is still a little bit of the race left to go. So definitely a good opportunity for them to separate themselves before they start thinking about battling.
Yeah, they're driving it very smart at the moment, aren't they? And I guess it's kind of a similar story to Red Bull Ring last time out, to very high speed circuits to starts off the season. But we have a good blend this season. Generally, the count is very good. I think we might have Spa next week. I'll have a check on that one, but I think it's Spa, Sebring and Imola on the next 2 races. If I recall correctly. Ooh, mistake there from Vaughan Roberts, and he's gone from 5th position now down to 7th because Cortez had got so close to these drivers. So mistake there from the number 10, Vaughan Roberts, who started up in 5th position. 7th now. We'll get a replay of just how this one happened, and yeah, kind of all by himself. A little bit of opposite lock, seemingly quite hot out on circuit today, and yeah, losing out to a couple more drivers.
Yeah, I made a quick.
Callahan.
See also one of the drivers there off on track. Yeah, that's Callaghan that ran off there. A bit of an unforced error, I think. A bit of a rough day for him, it would seem. So just having a bit of a look here, and yeah, there is a very hot on exit, and that Ria's just let go on him there.
I don't know how he didn't hit the wall, honestly. That was absolutely insane. It's set Beauchamp free now, so he's at the front of this train. But I mean, I think that ship has sailed. He's not going to catch up to the leaders. Best he can hope for is best of the rest in 4th place. There's so many drivers behind him, as you can see here. He would do well to keep all of them behind. So any moves happening here. We've got Hanoi under pressure from Malloy just ahead of this trio. Looks as though Lake, it's nearly contact with Kundala's trying to get in on the act. He's on ahead of Lake though in top position.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly from the previous race, Hanoi was in a bit of a midfield pack that were really close with their battle. I think all of it was 4 or 5 cars within a second of one another. So the skill gap in the series is actually quite small between certain portions of the pack. I also did a quick check for you on those tracks, so I can confirm next week is Spa-Francorchamps, and then Sebring after that, also a very, very nice track for it. Imola is going to be a nice skill-based one. And then they head to Laguna Seca, and the one that stands out to me a bit is Mount Panorama. These cars around Bathurst is going to be an interesting spectacle.
Yeah, we've had a couple of strength of field races around Bathurst in the past, and it's usually quite a fun race. Just negotiating the mountain every single time. Really impressive how the drivers managed to keep it out of the walls for so long. And yeah, that should be a real fun one. I think it's Nordschleife as well at the end of the season, as is customary in this championship. Best finish you could possibly have to the championship. So yeah, looking really fun as Cam almost spins it round. That was very lackadaisical, and he's going to lose the lead potentially 2 sides there. Trying to draft past one another. Beauchamp, by the way, catching up to these guys, but only by 0.2 seconds. They're still 3.8 behind, but it's a little bit of side-by-side. It's going to slow them up slightly. Cam keeps the lead then ahead of Site Streitzenberger, right with these drivers now. But the 3 of them stay in the same order. Quick shout out to SDK Gaming, who provide our amazing overlay up on screen. SDK Gaming providing lots of different overlay templates as well. You can make it look like the NASCAR overlay from a couple of years ago. Of course, this looks a little bit like the F1 2017 overlay. Also, you can get the old Formula Renault overlay as well. That's personally one of my favourites. And of course, it's great for live timing and as a heads-up display as well. So do check out sdk-gaming.co.uk for more details on that. As you see, Chris Cash, who had moved his way up to 10th position, I believe, having a problem, and he's back down to 14th.
So having a quick look at the replay here. Because unfortunately, that's just too much speed into that corner, and you can't really, even if you're going to slam on the brakes, you're not going to get that braking done in time. And that's the trick of turn 8, is you really want to carry the speed, but if you make one small slip up, you're in the kitty litter, and that's going to cost you heaps and heaps of time.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple of drivers make that mistake, haven't we? And so it seems to be one of the trickier ones out on track, as Malloy is moving past Hanoi. Can't, well, yes, that was Hanoi. Just having to kind of hold up mid-corner there behind Malloy, so Malloy up to 9th position, having a very good time there. And has got a bit of damage on the back of that car, but that won't be costing him too much. And now Hanoi is under pressure from Buisson.
I just want to point out, if you look at the entire straight, this is that mid-pack that I spoke about from the previous race. You can see that those intervals between all of them. I mean, all the way from 8th position to 16th, well, now 9th position to 18th, 16th, sorry. They're all there, so close to one another.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? And yeah, of course they're all very evenly matched. I'm surprised that some of these drivers are punching above their weight. Maybe, you know, Hanoi and Buisson and Malloy. Surprised to see them ahead of the likes of maybe Kundelis and Cash and Van den Hart. No, awesome to see this mix, and I think this Road America circuit, because it was very much the same on Wednesday as well, with the competitiveness, and everyone knows it so well. As we've got side by side with Sights and Cam. Sights trying to go for the lead here. He's going to have the inside line for Bill Mitchell Bent. Cam trying to stay alongside. This is early in the race to be fighting as hard as they are. Cam almost attacking, almost just defending. He's just going to lose some time. And Beauchamp, I was ruling him out of this race. He's gone from 4 seconds behind to 1.8 seconds behind.
Yeah, I think the guys are starting to worry a bit about their leading position. And, oh, that's very defensive there from Sights. pushing Cam off all the way. And unfortunately, there's contact that's taken outside, so he is out of the running for the lead.
Wow. Well, I want to see a replay of that one from Cam's perspective, because you were right, it was some tough defending and some tough attempting to overtake. And this was all getting very unnecessarily aggressive very early in the race. So, Sights defends the inside there, and yeah, breaks earlier than what Cam is expecting, I guess. And, well, that would be damage on Cam's car as well, but of course, by far worse for the driver who he hit, Greg Sights, who won last time out, was championship leader, and it's now Cam and Streitenberger at the front, but Beauchamp now only 1.1 seconds behind, and he's bringing that train of Cortez, Vaughan Roberts and Gazabo all with him. We can have a lead train of 6 soon.
That would be a very, very interesting end for the race, especially because it seems like Streitenberger is still within battling range of Cam. And that's very, very close to follow. And I think Cam might be a little bit distracted. There's still some comms going on between the two drivers. They sounds all very civil. But I mean, having an incident like that happen, that next lap is not going to be a fast one.
Yeah, and these cars are so brittle that surely that little bit of contact on the front will cause some splitter damage and affecting down these very long straights. This is, I mean, you were saying it before how it was close. This is unreal close now between these drivers. I'm waiting for something to kick off because I don't think this is going to last. Streitenberger, he's made a mistake, I think, with Streitenberger. It looked like he was going to come into the pits. I think he spun on exit. It's registered him as looking to come into the pits. Streitenberger from 2nd place down to 5th position now. So Beauchamp is up to 2nd place and he can legitimately win this race from this position. And it would be an incredible comeback for the car number 14. He qualified poorly, he was stuck in traffic in the early stages. Has just got 1.3 seconds now to catch up to Josh Cameron. Still that train didn't change heading into turn 3. We get a replay of what happened to Streitenberger.
That's the way just losing it on exit there. That's just too much speed for it, and you can see why it's registered and going into the pits. He did an incredible job of saving that.
Yeah, his chance of the race win taking a huge hit there down to 5th position, still ahead of Gazapo as it seemed to all kick off in this battle down into turn 3. Hanoi continued to drop down the order as Kunduz got round him. Just about. It was very slow for the pair of them, and look at Cash now trying to defend. Van Banden hurt. Cash is trying to defend, trying to attack Hanoi simultaneously. He manages to sandwich himself in the middle.
And now running through the carousel, and I mean, this is an absolute beautiful view, but it's so tricky when you're in this long of a train of cars to really focus on your braking markers, focus on your apexes and your exits, because half of the time you can't even see the track properly, and you've got this big rear wing in front of you, kind of distracting you a little bit. So you really need to make a mental effort of not making the same mistakes as your opponents in front of you. I'm just quickly having a look at the YouTube chat. So I see a few people mentioning Aaron Baba from the previous season that we've had. Lots of people asking where he is, and he hasn't been competing in the series as of yet. We didn't see him in the previous race, and he isn't here tonight. So I don't know whether he might have picked up a different series or whether he might be taking a small little break from things for his personal life.
Yeah, I think he's given some hints in previous interviews last season when he won the title that this might be his last season for a little bit, committing a lot of time over the last few months to this car. And he's going to try something different, I think, which is good for him, and it gives someone else an opportunity to win some races as Cortez moves up to apologies, Vaughan Roberts moves up to 3rd position. My apologies. Oh no, he's dropped it round though. He's round just as he makes the move. He makes a mistake, and that's his 2nd mistake of the race as well, because he made an error down at turn 5 where the drivers are just heading at the moment, and Vaughan Roberts, I think, struggling to get back onto the circuit as well. He's taken a while there, so maybe looping it on the grass for a second time. So he's up to 15th place. Big shame for him, but I can only hope I see more of Ron Roberts and Joe, who we haven't seen too much in the past. Hopefully see much more of him in the future. As in this battle, we've still got Malloy at the front of it, a little bit away from Buisson, and he's just about being able to hold off Lake, and Kundal is now making a late charge through the run.
Yeah, these guys have held on so well for the majority of the race. You can see there, Lake going for the move on the inside of Canada corner. He's not going to have the drive to get the move done, so they're still going to be side by side, running up to corner number 13. And this is a very good one to be on the outside. Lake doing a superb job. Some battles behind him going on as well, with Cash, Hanoi and Herc. And they are going to be making a run for it up the hill to the start-finish line. Now with 2 laps of racing to go, lap 11 and 12 still to come. Side by side, Malloy and Kundelis, and they got some in front of them as well. So 3 wide. This can surely not end well. You can see Malloy there backing out of it, knowing that someone was going to get quite hurt from that. This is some excellent racing for the end of the race, and the drivers kind of made their peace with where in the pack they're going to be, and then now it's back to every man for himself, and they are going to be fighting for it up until the very end.
Malloy went from 8th position down to 13th position in a few corners there, and well, great from Cash there. He was the one who got the inside line into turn 1 and made it 3 wide. And credit to the other drivers for leaving space to one another, but certainly I feel bad for Malloy there. It's Sights. How is Sights still driving that car? That's insane. And that was a big hit with the wall. Get meatballs for throwing flowers at this car, so he's don't quite know how he's still running, but he's trying to beat Reinhardt, who's another driver who's somehow still running in this race after issues earlier on. They've been alongside for a good half of a lap, almost driving a different category of car here, and they are just having some fun with this one at the moment. As we cut back to Cash and Kundalis. Kundalis back past them, Cash. So he's up to 9th position, gets a lot of wheel spin, and he might be able to catch up to Lake in the time remaining. He's got 1 more lap to go.
So we're going to take the white flag, and it's going to be the sprint for the end. You can see Cam with very comfortable lead there in front. Well, I say comfortable as you can be with 8 cents in the pocket. Cortez making a run for it on the outside, not going to find the gap. He's going to try and go for it again. And unfortunately losing out there to Gazalpo. And Streitenberger making a very good comeback back into 3rd. So he's going to be leading that pack into the rest of the lap. Beautiful view here on the run down to corner number 5. Very, very tricky corner. And then, of course, this uphill run to corner number 6. Very, very tricky braking zone. So a few of the drivers spinning out here. The tires are going to be screaming for dear life. And it's going to be all about who's going to be able to do this cleanly near the end. Back to you, Sam.
Yeah, there's 7 tenths between the leaders, so Cam looks as though he's going to be safe here. There has been an issue for Chris Cash on this last lap. I imagine we'll get a replay maybe after the race is complete. Vaughan Roberts ahead of the damaged Hanoi. He seems to have had a problematic lap. And Streitenberger hanging on at the moment to 3rd position. If anything, it looks like Gazapo and Cortez are being preoccupied at the moment. So Streitenberger's going to be able to make a run for this one and take home 3rd position as long as he just keeps it clean towards the end. The Spaniard moves to 4th position, then ahead of Cortez, who's driven so well at good pace, but just falling back right at the end. But the checker flag is being prepared. Josh Cam out in the lead. He's going to take the lead of the championship as well with this race win. Josh Cam, car number 2, takes the win at Road America. He beats Beauchamp by 0.4 of a second. He was charging right at the end. It was a valiant drive home. Good drive from Stratzenberger. Could have been a race win had it not been for that mistake at the final corner. And it's Gazapo and Cortez just behind him. Kundl is holding on, big battle there with Reinhardt, trying to give it everything through the final corner, but he's going to finish second best to Cash, to Sights down in 16th position. Really fun race there. I think we've said it a few times, the competitiveness out there, Johan, was absolutely immense. So evenly matched between the drivers and some absolutely epic racing. I mean, we don't like to see kind of slipstream battles all the time, but it's nice to see them now and again.
Yeah, and I mean, this is very enjoyable, and seeing a 3-1 situation without someone crashing out, I mean, that is definitely something that is very, very rare in the world of racing. But it's been just an absolute joy to watch and commentate on these races. So I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the season.
For sure. Yeah, gonna be a fun season. I mean, we've maybe lost a few regulars, but I think we've really attained a few fantastic drivers as well. As we see a replay of what happened to Cash then on the last lap. Oh, so that was how Hanoi got the damage then. He absolutely slammed Cash, honestly. He then hit the other wall as well. Man, how lucky do you have to be? So he dropped down to 17th position there, did Chris Cash. Quick shout out, by the way, to Virtual Racing School, who is one of the sponsors for this broadcast. Virtual Racing School with over 50 data packs for road and over racing, and each of those data packs includes setups, track guides, one-on-one coaching, and you can also get the fantastic telemetry software as well with Virtual Racing School. Everyone who I've heard of used Virtual Racing School have really given props to the telemetry software. It enables you to compare your braking points and your acceleration points compared to a pro level driver. It really allows you to identify exactly where you're losing time, where you could improve. And of course, if you want to get a one-on-one coaching with one of those best drivers in iRacing, then that can really improve your performance. And of course, you can get that for the Radical SR8 as well. So yeah, if you want to improve in this car, Virtual Racing School is the place to go. We will hopefully have some interviews with drivers, and I think apologies, we've still got to go through the results. I'm totally getting ahead of myself. Josh Cam wins out then 0.4 of a second ahead of Daniel Beauchamp. Christian Stratzenberger was in 3rd position, then it was Alberto Gazapo, Lucas Cortez, Scott Callahan, Mike Busson, Philip Blake, Arturus Kundelis, Philip Vandenherk, Sean Malloy, Dennis Kyriakopoulos, Nick Vaughan Roberts, Eric Hanoi, Greg Seitz, Michael Reinhardt, Chris Cash, Mitchell Green, Michael DeTurk, Robert Woodward, and Alex Millward. Pretty much everyone finishing that, bar the bottom 3. So, yes, we will have some interviews with drivers. At the moment, we've just got one driver available, but it's kind of the man who I wanted to talk to anyway. It's Daniel Beauchamp, who joins us in the commentary box. Congratulations, Daniel. I mean, that would have been one hell of a comeback because it wasn't your best qualifying ever. You were stuck in traffic for a long time in that race, and you were so close in the end to taking the race win. Do you think one more lap you would have had him?
Maybe one more lap, we would have gone side to side and had some fun. I don't know about getting him. Josh is a really amazing driver, and I think our pace was pretty much the same. So I don't know about passing, but yeah, I think I definitely could have fought him on the next lap.
Talk us through that qualifying, because I mean, you were 2/10 off, but I think that put you down in like 7th position on the grid. I mean, was that, you know, the best quality lap you could do, or was there a little bit more was there a bit more available, you think?
It was just about perfect, except I don't know the name of the corner, but the big downhill braking turn 3, I think. I locked up a little bit on that. Besides that, the lap was perfect, but I'd like to think I lost 2/10 there.
And of course, you've been taking parts in the Apex Racing League Radical Championship that has hour-long races. Does it change your perspective at all on these kind of shorter races? Do they seem like they go past even faster than they did before?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's a lot more mentally manageable almost. Like I'm a lot less stressed about, it's just 12 laps. That's easy. As opposed to an hour. Yeah, it definitely does change my perspective.
And next up, we've got Spa for week 3 of the championship. Another slipstream circuit. I mean, of course, it was quite a hot topic, I think, a couple of seasons ago. Slipstream circuits or tight and twisty circuits, because the draft model was so strong. Of course, the draft model's changed a little bit since then, and so kind of what are your feelings towards these kind of hot, long straight circuits? Are you quite enjoying them, or are you kind of looking forward to going to maybe some of the more technical ones like Imola in a few weeks?
I think the draft has found a reasonable, comfortable balance. Still don't know how realistic it is, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the idea that it used to be the case that someone who was far slower than you even had a chance of overtaking you. But even at this circuit with 2 quite long straights, I don't think anyone has a chance of coming alongside unless they are at least on your pace. At least that's how it seemed to me. So I look forward to those tracks more than I used to.
Definitely, I think that's very well summed up. Being good change to this car in recent times. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Daniel. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Josh. Really nice win. Really good race. Seemed like he deserved it. Good job.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, and we'll see you back on Wednesday.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Daniel Beauchamp there, your runner-up tonight. And I will just give one final shout out to Apex Racing Academy, another sponsor for this series. Apex Racing Academy with 29 data packs, each of those data packs including setups, track guides, weekly group coaching sessions, and it's also integrated with the Virtual Racing School, so you can get some of the telemetry software that I was talking about for your Apex Racing Academy data packs. It's a nice, easy to use add-on, and also the setup sync technology as well on Apex Racing Academy is so easy to use. It really does take the stress out of downloading setups into your file directory. So big thanks to Apex Racing Academy, and do check out apexracingac.com for more details on that. And I will also give a final shout out. Apologies for all the shout outs, but do make sure to check out apexracingleague.com as well, where you can sign up to the Wednesday night Radical Championship. We've still got a few more rounds to go in that one, and if you sign up to that series, then you can enter the final 3 rounds for just £9 plus VAT, and you can check out all of our other series as well, with prototypes, GTs, tin tops and single seaters, all of that stuff covered by apexracingleague.com. Johan, who would you like to have a chat with next?
So I see we've got Josh Cam kind of waiting there for us to have a chat with. So if we can have a chat with him, that would be quite interesting to have him over. So just welcome, Josh, and a massive congratulations. I mean, that was a very, very tough race by the looks of things. Just a superb job fighting there. And from your side, what was that like with that intense battle? I think it was just near 2/3 of the race through.
Yeah, very intense. This track is very tough to pull away from. There's only a couple of corners really where the dirty air holds the car behind back. In all the races I've done this week, you can follow, and I knew how fast Greg was, so it's always going to be hard to pull away from him. Yeah, the incident into turn 1, I think I have to take the majority of the blame on that one. I think I've slightly lost where I am because we have the third car in the battle over on the left. But I braked pretty much exactly at my normal point. There's a tiny little gap on my end of iRacing between myself and Greg, but you can't really use that as an excuse every time because we all know how iRacing is. So I can only apologise to Greg, really. I'm sure he's going to be a part of this season going forwards because he has the pace. So let's hope we can come back next week at Spa and do this again with a clean result.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and unfortunately, that is kind of the thing that happens with hard racing. I remember Verstappen kind of saying that if you go for a very, very difficult move and you pull it off, then you're everyone's hero. And then the moment you make a mistake, then you're kind of public enemy number one. So it's always tricky with hard racing. In terms of next week at Spa, how do you feel about Spa itself? I mean, it's a classic, very classic track, pretty fast. We unfortunately never saw it with the F1, so it's nice getting a bit of action with the virtual racing there. Are you a big fan of the track itself, or?
Yeah, well, I know iRacing are working on rain, but I'm not expecting the race next week to be rained off, so we should be able to put on a show on Friday. And that battle with Greg, the last 3 corners, we had some beautiful side-by-side racing. It's not, like either of us has no respect for the boundaries, but it is tough to race in these conditions. So for Spa, I've not raced the Radical there personally. I expect the slipstream to be a massive component from out of Stavelo all the way to the bus stop, and from La Source all the way through Eau Rouge up to Lake Coombe. So I don't know really. This week it was really about looking after the rear tyres. In my opinion, the car was very oversteery everywhere you drove it. So if you could kind of protect the rears a little bit throughout the race, that was a big bonus towards the end. Spa might be like that, it might not. These things can be setup dependent, but we can be sure that it'll be pretty low downforce at Spa, I would expect. So I'm looking forward to it. This car's always fun.
And then speaking of protecting the rear, we kind of saw the 3 of you bunch up. I think it was you, Seitz, and Strattenberger kind of bunching up. Were you working together to kind of get away from the rest of the pack before you started battling, or was it just the case that you were just staying behind and saving your tires for later during the race?
It's hard to say, as I was lucky enough to get the car on pole and lead from the start. I think I saw Greg once. He was close enough where he could have probably sent a dive bomb move, and he chose to stay behind. And I think he probably realised it was worth following at that stage of the race. Some of the races I've done this week as well, it's really, there's a lot to be said for holding some of your powder dry, keeping those tyres in the window a little bit more. It's not as bad as we see on TV with Pirelli rubber in Formula One, but there's definitely, if you can protect a tyre in a race, there's always an advantage to be gained through traction or rotation mid-corner, anything like that. So it's one of those things you have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's. Even at Oran Park, which is a very, very short circuit, the tires was even there. The tires were last season. The tires were really falling off near the end of the race. So definitely agree with you there. Then from your side, any shout outs, people supporting you that you want to say thanks to?
Yeah, well, as always, it's great to have these races covered, even when they don't go perfectly. So thank you all to you guys here in the commentary box. I hope you're enjoying commentating on the Radicals. I don't know if it's a new venture for you guys, is it?
So for Sam, Sam's been doing this for quite a while.
Far from it. Yeah, I mean, we're coming up to a year now. A year on Apex Racing TV for this, so it's been amazing.
Sorry, do I know you, Sam? I'm not sure. Have you been around for a while?
I mean, I don't remember a time before commentary. It's all I do. I wake up.
I'm supposed to be saying thank you, aren't I?
You are. Yeah.
No, well, it's good to see Sam back. We didn't know where he'd gone in week 1. And thanks to everyone else who's involved in the broadcast. All my teammates at Pure Motorsport are always a great help. It's much more fun to practice together than by yourself. So let's come back at Spa and hope we can go again.
Definitely agree, and looking forward to it quite a bit. Thank you so much for your time, Josh, and then just a massive congrats again on the win, and good luck for next week at Spa.
Thanks, Johan. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see anyone else, so I think that is it for the night. Sam, anything else from your side?
Not too much apart from can't wait for Spa. That's another one where I think I was saying earlier on how I think the last 2 times we've visited this place the final corner's been very action-packed. I think at Spa as well. I think we had almost 2 identical finishes the last 2 times that we visited there, where it's come down to the final chicane. So that is going to be another really good one. Should be another one where the racing should be nice and close, lots of slipstreaming, and of course you can catch it all on Apex Racing TV. Make sure to leave this video a like, and then you're more likely to get recommended next week's stream once it goes live. And of course, to make sure that you catch the stream, subscribe to Apex Racing TV and turn on the notifications. If you do that, then you'll be notified whenever we go live with a stream. And we've got plenty more streams to come up as well in the near future. Tomorrow we've got the first round of the Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Got quite a few drivers for that, close to 30 drivers I think signed up for that championship, so it should be really fun to see that single-seater back on iRacing. We haven't broadcasted that car for a long time on Apex Racing TV. Then it is the Formula Renault 3.5 Championship in the evenings, a proper retro single-seaters that we're going back to tomorrow. Then on Sunday we have the Spec Ford Racer, I believe, and the IGP Fun. On Monday we've got the final round of the Apex Racing League Formula V Championship, and on Tuesday we've got the Apex Racing League GT3 Pro Trophy. A whole host of other races as well I've missed out, but about 20 odd streams going live on Apex Racing TV every single week, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out our social media pages as well on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Huge thanks to Virtual Racing School, to SDK Gaming and to Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring this series, and of course do make sure to check out apexracingleague.com as well. Links to all of them in the descriptions below. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Johan Karanas and from Mark Tranter, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time out at Spa. See you then.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.